Hello guys, and welcome back to the 2018 Pärnu Open Back 9. We got Bird Shoes commentary once again. To my right is Will Schusterick. Are you ready to see the back 9, Will?
All right, let's see what happens. I'm so excited. Where are we at? Eagle, tell us where we are.
We're in Pärnu, Estonia. And hole number 10. Pärnu, Estonia, hole number 10. Hole 10, par 3, 76 meters. This is the course's island hole. Off the tee, you're wanting to throw a forehand. Just put it on the island. I think this and hole 3 are probably the easiest holes on the course, but both holes are punishing. You could easily throw out of bounds like I did the round prior.
Yeah, and pretty standard wind on this hole. It wasn't swirling at all. It just moved left to right, which played an advantage on the sidearm. I think you're going to see just about every single person in the tournament throw a sidearm on this hole unless they're left-handed. Once again, I'm throwing A3, 400 plastic A3, a little bit of a sidearm. It's almost like a 70% power, 60, 70% power. Keep it high, let it fade pretty far right. And the sand makes it to where the disc doesn't skip too either, so it's always good.
I'm actually throwing a super beat up Glow MD3 on this shot, and I went a lot wider than everyone else does because I was scared of a tree. The tree that's right there, I hit it the round before, so I wanted to do everything that I could to avoid it.
Yeah, and you hit the concrete curb too, and it skipped just a little bit. Only gave you like another 5 feet or so. But once again, this is a hole that you just got to birdie.
Absolutely.
Leo going with the sidearm too as well. I think he's getting CTP, splashing a little bit of sand up on the basket. Mikhail's got a little bit of work left to do. You can see the wind. The wind does come into play. Maybe a little bit less on the back 9, except for like a couple holes, because you have a lot of those really big, tall, skinny trees that eat up a lot of the wind. Mikhail making a really good putt there. You're looking at a 20-footer, maybe 22 feet.
Yeah, right in that ballpark. A little wind, just outside the zone where you have to think about it.
Ronald too as well with the sidearm, and
Nice.
popping it in there. I think we're all going to be taking birdie on this hole.
Star birdie. Nice. That's how to do it. Doing what we're supposed to.
Makes things a lot more fun whenever you do stuff like that.
5 players, 5 under. Hole 11, par 3, 115 meters. This hole is a little bit tricky. The ideal shot is you're throwing something that you can control and put a little bit of hyzer on it, get to flip to slightly flat, and then fade left.
Yeah, and it's kind of in between a fairway driver and driver, because you want the fade of a driver, but the fairway is probably not going to fade enough. You almost have to release on a hyzer, or otherwise you hit that big fat tree right there. That's right off the tee. So kind of want to pure the shot if you can on slight hyzer, fade in, probably skip. There's not a whole lot of skip out here because of the sand, but typically a driver off the tee. I'm throwing a 400 D1 off the tee here.
That's nice and clean. I mean, with the driver, it's just pretty much hitting that line and smoothing it through the gap, and you're pretty much going to be inside the circle almost every time. Right now, it's kind of what we were saying, like in between a fairway driver and a distance driver. I threw a first run PED where it kind of falls right in between those two. And
Yeah, and if you hit the gap with the slight hyzer, I didn't see many people go too far straight. And the only way that you kind of end up going too far straight is if you get the disc flat and flies a little bit too far. Like you can see right there, stays on hyzer the whole time, fades towards the basket, and I think he ended up in bullseye or almost CTP. Same thing with Leo here, slight hyzer out of his hand, a little bit high, which actually works out because it fades a little bit longer. And I think him as well is also looking inside the circle putt. Fairly easy upshot right there.
Oh, a little
for
kiss
Ronald,
on the
get
tree.
a little bit of a kiss off the tree. Like you're saying, this is like in that range of like 2 more feet, and you think about it for another 2 more seconds, but only about a 20-foot putt or so.
Nice putt from Will.
They had a really big gallery for a B tier in Estonia. They love their disc golf out there.
It's amazing. For those of you who don't know, Estonia is just it's a really blossoming country in disc golf. They're so into it. Just seeing that support from the fans out there is just really reassuring. And for it being so young, there's only good things to come.
Yeah, and this property is like a training ground, I think, for skiers, like we were talking about earlier. And it's kind of one of those places in the U.S. you're always dreaming about a disc golf course on this type of property.
All right, hole 12, par 4, 168 meters. This is definitely the hardest hole on the course. The first shot is very demanding. As you see right there, on that tree there's a sign. That's a mando, and it's a mandatory right of the basket, and then you have to take pretty much a 90-degree turn left.
Might be more than 90 degrees.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. And if you throw the perfect shot, by no means are you guaranteed to even get up and down for your birdie. So off the tee, you're really just kind of pushing to ideally get past that first mando. But
yeah, and you have to end up on the right-hand side. Like I'm throwing a PA4 off the tee here. I got very fortunate. I somehow squeaked through the trees. But I'm still in a horrible position to even try to get towards the basket.
Yeah, off the tee, I'm throwing a C-line CD2. I want it to ride straight and then end a little bit right, just so it opens up the gap a little bit more, so you're able to maybe force a forehand or a backhand down there.
Yeah, that's the ideal landing position. Between the mando and the street, like the people where they're standing right there, it's only about 40 feet, and you can see right there, he almost has a perfect shot, but misses the mando at the last second. So he's going to have to go to the drop zone. Leo here, he's throwing a mid-range, that kind of turned over on him earlier, but he's going uphill, so the disc has a lot more time to fade out, and that's a perfect shot.
That's a perfect shot.
Yeah. Ronald.
I didn't see where that
I didn't even see
went.
where it went either.
People are clapping, so. Oh
yeah,
yeah,
that's actually not a bad spot to be. He's on the right-hand side. He throws forehand, so he's going to try to flip it over here, but that's not out of bounds. That's just the mando line right there. So they usually call this a par 5 in casual play. Is what?
Okay, I can see it.
Because you're just not getting to the basket unless you get around the mando.
Be a soft par 5, but
yeah,
definitely see it.
Mikhail here is going sidearm mid-range, trying to get down the hill. As you can see the basket, there's that one tiny gap that you kind of want to get through, but once you hit the gap, it just floats towards the basket.
Yeah, that drop zone shot's definitely not easy, so definitely demands a good shot to get your par.
Yeah, it's one of those weird angles where you could throw, like you're throwing slight hyzer, straight putter, or is that a putter?
Yeah, that was a D-line P3X, and I just snuck inside the circle on that one.
Yeah, and I had no clue what to do here. It was like I could throw what I call a shank sidearm out of your hand, and if I did throw it perfectly, it might flex going down the hill. I thought about going forehand roller. It's really just a super tight and then let the disc kind of fade, but I got farther probably than what I deserved to get to, but that's probably 60, 70 feet.
Yeah, those shots are always kind of hard because you kind of have to decide how much you're going to bite off, because is it really worth putting a lot of extra energy, or maybe smoothing something a little bit more understable just to make sure that you're in the fairway?
Yeah.
Ooh, wow, that was close.
Yeah, and I'm looking at about a 60-footer right here. Once again, just a pretty long jump putt. Just a hope and a prayer. If it goes in, it's a little lucky.
Right. Come on.
Yeah, you have that uphill slope. Just kind of put it up there. But you'll still have a par there, so that's good.
Yeah, Leo on his second shot right here, looking at birdie with a little bit of a downhill putt. That's a great birdie right there. One of the few ones that I saw throughout the entire week. And you're inside the circle to 25 feet or so?
Just about, yeah.
Another great birdie.
I was super pumped to get that one.
And for sure the hardest hole on the course. If you look at the scores and with the Mando and the demanding angle that you just have to be out, otherwise you're not getting to the basket.
It might be the hardest hole on the course. I think maybe hole 1 maybe played a little bit more over par than this hole.
That's true. There's a lot of out of bounds there.
But hole 1's really as hard as you make it for yourself.
Exactly. And that's a pretty standard hole that you're going to look at, 4-5, 3-4, 3. On a hole like that is still not bad.
Oh, not at all. Even getting 2 birdies on there. My cards prior to that hole weren't even getting birdies. So hole 13, par 3, 82 meters. Here's another shorty on this course. It's basically a slight flip up putter or a mid-range. Kind of flip to flat, maybe ride a little bit right. I'm throwing a beat up glow MD3 right here. Just making sure I concentrate on my form, being methodical and smoothing it through the gap.
Yeah, there's just a baby amount of wind on this hole, nothing to really make a big difference. You throw it just over the bush, goes a little bit downhill, a little bit uphill towards the basket, and it's just like you said, you just really want to be nice and smooth and get your disc just to fade to the right a little bit. As you can see, Leo, his disc didn't fade as much as he was looking for. I'm throwing a PA4 right here, just slight hyzer release. Then wanting it just to turn over a little bit, and I think I end up 15 feet away from the basket or so.
Yeah, that's pretty much all you need right there. And this is the one hole that does not have a disc golf park basket. Reason being, you'll see in a sec, it's an elevated basket, so they weren't able to get a disc golf park basket elevated for the event. But that's all good in my book.
Yeah, this was a pretty. I'm not a huge fan of elevated baskets with only one pole that makes it elevated. But this, since you have actually a back slope behind the basket, I don't mind it. I like the tiered basket if they're ever doing some type of elevation for the pin.
Absolutely.
This was also a really hard hole to commit running at a long putt because, as you can see, Leo right here, he kind of throws it up there, but he plays a little bit kind of soft because the trees are so close to the basket. Last thing you want to do is have a straddle uphill putt at this elevated pin. And once again, I'm 15 feet, but 15 feet elevated pin. I just want to take my time and follow through.
Leo cleaning up his 3.
Almost bullseye right there.
Almost. A few centimeters outside.
You got to raise that. Dang, going metric.
Yeah, I got to do it, man.
Metric for the metrics.
When I'm in Europe, I go metric.
All right, hole 13, one of the easier holes on the course. 2-2, 3-3, 2 right there. Leo missing a little bit longer putt, and Ronald also as well.
Hole 14, par 4, 158 meters. This hole, the tee shot, it's pretty strange. You have a mando on the left side, and it kind of forces you to play, I'd say, a putter or a mid-range off the tee, kind of a high stall hyzer, just to get you in a position to maybe throw a forehand or a slow-turning mid-range fairway driver approach shot.
Yeah, I would say it's one of the more demanding par 4s, meaning that if you're not in the right position, you're just not really going to get a birdie, but you're also not really going to take any more than a par on this because it's pretty easy to advance down the fairway, but the tee shot, you do have to throw it fairly high and get some fade down the hill. You don't want to go straight. The straighter you go off the tee without getting any amount of that fade, you just can't reach the basket. There's too much of an angle. You're going with that mid-range. This is probably the best tee shot that we saw on the hole throughout the whole week, and you can't see the catch. The catch cam is probably not in the best spot right there, but he went pretty far down the hill in the middle of the tee, middle of the hole. I mean, I'm throwing that A3 as I've thrown like 70% of holes. It seems like this whole week, just up high, and I ended up just a tiny bit to the right-hand side of the fairway, but still a good shot. I'm surprised he went low right here because if you go low, it's really easy to get too much speed and go too far long. Kind of like what he did right there. Leo probably made a little bit more of an adjustment. Went higher, and that's a good looking shot right there. And rare backhand for Ronald, but this was actually one of his best backhand shots, I think.
Yeah, he put that in a really good position. Great position to throw a forehand.
Yeah, and Mikhail, you're forced to throw some type of forehand here. You can see the tree's almost come into play to where he's blocked off, but he did have a little bit of a shot. Leo's in perfect positioning. Do a little flip up sidearm. Pretty good shot right there. It's almost at the basket. I think that's 30 feet short or so, maybe inside the circle.
Yeah, I think he might be on the circle's edge.
Yeah, and I definitely misjudged the distance a little bit on this. I thought it was a little bit closer to the basket. There was a little bit of headwind, and I went putter, turnover. Probably should have ended up going mid-range turnover. You can see where Ronald's at. That's an ideal position to be on the tight left of the fairway, tight left of the fairway, so you can see the basket the whole way.
I actually landed on the path, giving myself a nice little tee pad to throw from.
Yeah, that was definitely an amazing drive to get up and high with that mid-range and fade left. There's a lot of players who always look for a hard right to left shot, and sometimes a really overstable disc isn't the way to go. Sometimes it's the less overstable mid-range or putter, just up high, keep the disc in the air, and get some more glide. And that's the type of shot that you threw right there. Once again, looking at that like 50, 60 foot jump putt. There's a lot more wind than you can tell in the video.
Yeah. I mean, when there's just a little bit of wind too, I'd rather have a sustained maybe like 5 to 10 mile per hour wind.
Yeah.
Opposed to maybe like a 2 to 3, because it kind of it throws you off a little bit.
Yeah, really good catch right there on the left-hand side. A great birdie to pick up. And that's hole 14, 158 meters. Once again, one of the more demanding par 4s on the course. Not many bogeys, and eagle with a fantastic birdie.
ruin the star par, man. Sorry,
Come
guys.
on, dude. Get the pars. They're fun.
Hole 15, par 5, 215 meters. Basically, the entire hole is the same fairway, just probably like, I don't know, 5 meters wide. You can kind of choose to go how aggressive you want off the tee pad. I know I'm throwing mid-range off just to kind of put myself in the middle, or at least hopefully put myself in the middle, and then just kind of attacking what feels comfortable for whoever's throwing it.
Yeah, and this hole too actually plays a little bit low ceiling, which I think the low ceiling made a lot of people go with either a mid-range or a fairway driver of some type, just because you are a little bit higher than the fairway. Looks like you're throwing that MD3.
Yeah.
Mid-range, and somehow you just squeak through the trees on the left. There's a wall of trees the entire way through. I went driver on this. I felt pretty good off the tee the whole week, so I felt pretty confident going full power driver. It's a 400 GD1, slight hyzer, nice and low to get it to go straight. I faded off a little bit at the end. You can't really tell right there, but I got pretty far down the fairway. This is a type of hole, too, that if you can get 300 feet off the tee, you're going to really be able to reach the basket and have an opportunity for eagle.
Absolutely. McGow, he throws a pretty decent shot. He'll just find himself on the right side of the fairway.
Yeah, and once again, 250, 300 feet off the tee, you're looking pretty good. And Leo, 2, slight hyzer. Coming in. I think he hit the branch right there. I couldn't exactly see where it finished, but...
Ronald playing forehand.
Yeah, I remember him ended up in the middle of the fairway, and it was a pretty good shot. Tough to throw the flex sidearm on that type of hole, but he was definitely low and kind of hit the slight uphill, so it's a good spot to be.
So you'll say Leo, he's on the left side of the fairway, so pretty much the only shot from over there is kind of forcing over some sort of forehand play back down the fairway.
Yeah. If you got nothing in front of you, you got to start looking above you.
Yeah, I'm taking a really overstable PD2 and just kind of forcing it over, trying to bite off as much distance as possible. And I actually bite off a pretty good amount of distance, and I'll have a look to get up and down for a birdie.
Yeah, Ronald once again going sidearm. There is an open gap on the left-hand side of the fairway here to flex back in. I kind of think that's what he's looking to go for. I think he did hit a tree, but he's going to have something to get up and down. As you can see right there, Mikhail is also looking to get that same shot. I'm hoping to try to line up to go for the basket to get an eagle. I had a little bit of a tight window right off the tee, right off my second shot. You can see the little skinny tree right there. I pretty much have to keep it spike hyzer the whole time out of my hand. I think I'm going D1, but I pulled it a little bit too much. Not great footing, no follow through, anything like that, but I definitely got fortunate, went through some trees, and I ended up left-hand side.
Yeah, those shots where you're kind of confined and claustrophobic, where you just are focusing on the snap, those ones are a bit difficult at times.
Yeah, they either go one way or the other.
Exactly. Looks like Leo is throwing his MD2 on a forehand there, and he gets a good amount up there.
Yeah, this was a great positioning off that sidearm that you threw. Had just a fairly easy turnover towards the basket. You played that nice stall shot. You're looking, I think, inside the circle, putting for birdie. Ronald, too, as well. He's, 500 feet up the tee, only 200 feet away from the basket. Here's that patented 60-footer once again. Looking at it. Left it just short this time. Kind of comical whenever you have 5 or 6 60-footers and you go every which way around the basket. A good putt from Ronald right there for birdie. Leo too as well.
Nice.
Yeah, he was kind of back and forth across the fairway, but it's a type of hole that as long as you pick up 200 or 300 feet each throw, you're going to get up there for your birdie. All good putts from everybody. Eagle as well. All fours, not bad.
Nice. Star birdie. I like it.
One of the harder holes on the course, just because there's a lot of danger off the tee pad. Not really any out of bounds.
Hole 16, par 3, 120 meters. This hole gave me some issues this weekend. Basically, you want to throw maybe a fairway driver, something with a slight flip, and maybe kind of just aim to get inside the circle to get a putt. But by no means is it easy. It's a very demanding tee shot because you do have to hit a first initial gap.
Yeah, I didn't really see any shots on this hole get up towards the basket. I think the closest I saw was 50 or 60 feet, and I think me and you were both there the other day, and we just kind of laid up.
Yeah, right here, I threw a CD2, and I hit that one tree and kicked straight left. It'll leave me quite a difficult upshot.
Yeah, I thought about hitting the gap a little bit too much on this one. I'm moving way too slow, and I followed you up right into that tree.
Yeah, we're literally right next to each other.
This hole is one of the most demanding par 3s if you're looking to get a birdie on it. There's some out of bounds on the right, nothing to really worry about that much. I don't think I saw anybody go out of there to the right. It's one of those holes that for some reason you need to keep it straight, but you always end up to the left. And it's on kind of a strange uphill berm, ski slope type thing. So if you're not on that hill and you're on the side, you're looking at a borderline impossible putt.
Ronald going for the force over forehand, which I actually thought about playing, just because you could force it over and then kind of get it to end a little bit straighter. Ronald have a lengthy upshot.
Yeah, he had a really long second shot, but once again, there's that out of bounds on the right you don't want to mess with. I was in a really awkward position. I had no idea what to do here. I went backhand, I went forehand. I was thinking the whole time I just wanted to get inside the circle, and I turned it too much, and that's a very good explanation of impossible putt because I'm straight up towards the basket.
So
this was a great shot.
I see an opportunity here. I'm kind of chewing away at Will's lead. I knew I needed to get up inside the circle to give myself a chance moving forward.
Yeah, the tee shot is really demanding on this if you even expect to get a par because the upshot becomes so tough. And there's just no chance on the planet that you're going to run this putt. There's OB like 15 feet away from the basket, and it's a straight downhill drop. As you can see, everybody just kind of pitching up right there. That's one of those putts that's really fun to practice and in practice. And try to make, but if you do miss, it's most likely going to roll, and the out of bounds is right there. Yep, par is not a bad score on that hole.
So hole 16, moving on to hole 17. I'm now down by 1 stroke, so I'm trying to get something going on this. So hole 17, par 5, 165 meters.
Par 4.
Oh, par 5. Oh, oops. Par 4. It's just you kind of want to throw either a fairway driver or distance driver. All you're really thinking about is smoothing it down the fairway and getting an open look. With a really ambitious shot, you could potentially get yourself an eagle look. So that idea is definitely there, but most of the time you're just thinking about getting your birdie on this one.
Yeah, I like this one. This is a fairly easy par 4, like you're saying. Once you hit the gap and it fades left, it's not a difficult approach. You're within 200 feet of the basket, so it's just all about hitting the angle on the hitting the fairway on the slight hyzer angle. I thought you were going to be all the way down there for a look at birdie. I was hoping to see the catch cam to see if you hit a tree at the last second or not.
Yeah, I threw a C-line CD2 and put a hyzer on it. I think it just flipped a little bit too fast, but I'll be down there.
Yeah, I think the main thing you don't want to do here is go early left. Pretty tough to get to the basket. You can see all those little skinny trees right there.
Leo playing a fairway driver of sorts. And it looks like he hits right side and kicks over to the left. What are you throwing here?
Yep, I'm throwing a 400 GD2. Once again, just trying to hit the gap. Pulled it too much. There's out of bounds on the left over there, and I ended up about 15 feet short of that, but I'm not really too far off the tee. I think that he just went mid-range sidearm off the tee to just get in position. This is one of the most important shots of the tournament right here. I have to get down to the basket to at least have a look, somehow birding, because Eagle has a pretty much a gimme birdie at this point. I'm throwing the same disc that I teed off with right there, just slight hyzer, wanting it to fade, move pretty far left, so I need more glide instead of dropping. So that's why I decided to go with D2 instead of anything else.
Looks like Ronald's having a little trouble right here. Kind of has to find that. He has to worry about hitting 2 gaps. But
yeah, not a bad shot right there. Yeah.
Wow.
It's always tough when you're going for the tomahawk and you hit something right behind you.
McGuile throwing a little turnover.
Yeah, he was stuck a little bit on the left-hand side, but once again, once you get a little bit down the fairway, you can have a look at the basket, and Leo's trying to tell him, get the disc up there a little bit. Long look
Leo
for birdie.
Putting so much spin and so much snap on that putt. So I'm thinking I need to make this, but I don't really get a proper connection on it, and myself a little bit left.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of wind down here too. You can kind of see the banner in the background move a little bit, but once again, it's hard to tell from the video how much little bit of breeze, like the annoyance wind. And this is for sure the most important putt throughout the tournament. Making it keeps me up by 1 going into the last hole with Eagle with a guaranteed tap-in birdie in front of me.
Clutch right there.
Yeah, it definitely felt good to finally make one outside the circle on this one.
Yeah, that was big time right there, because hole 18, there's nothing really too crazy on the final hole, so being tied definitely wouldn't be a comfortable feeling.
Leo tapping his par. Eagle and I taking the birdies. A little bit of trouble for the other guys, but birdie par type golf.
Hole 18, par 3, 137 meters. There's 2 initial gaps that you can go off the tee. The inside line, which kind of requires maybe a kind of a flip up to slight anhyzer, and the wide route, which you can kind of force over some sort of distance driver and hopefully gradually pan out as you go up the fairway.
Yeah, and I had troubles with this hole the entire week. I didn't practice throw the last 6 holes of the course during practice, just because it started raining and the weather wasn't fantastic. So I didn't know whether to go big anhyzer or down the middle.
So I'm really trying to give this everything I got, so because I'm down 1 right now. And out of my hand, I liked it, but it just faded out a little bit too fast, and it's going to be on the left side of the fairway.
Yeah, and I'm going H3 V2 here. I hit one of the many gaps that are right at the front of the tee right there. Just a little bit of a turn. I just wanted to get past that light pole and be in the middle of the fairway, just to take an easy par. This one looked almost like it was going to get there, and then it just faded out. But that uphill right towards the basket really takes away a lot.
Yeah, you have to throw just the perfect line because it's so easy to turn over too quick or not turn over enough.
Yeah, and Leo had a fantastic shot right there. Just slight hyzer, flipped over fairly quick, but didn't have enough turn on it to really dig, and then it just had a slow fade. And Ronald, too, as well, had a rip on a sidearm, but I think he just caught one of the few trees and had a unfortunate rollback.
He's in a bit of an awkward position right here.
It's probably played as the tougher of the par threes coming down the stretch because it's over 400 feet uphill, but also like a long Anheuser fade type uphill.
Mikael just putting it up there.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to pitch this one up underneath the basket. Obviously, Eagle is in front of me right there, so he's got a really long look.
Yep, I'm taking a little extra time on this one, trying to visualize it going in. Someone talking in the background. I'm resetting. This look is probably from 15 plus meters.
Yeah, I was thinking you were 60, 70 feet. Non-metric unit.
Yeah, that'd be a crush putt. And out of my hand, I think there's a chance, but it just pulls a little bit right.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of breeze right there actually knocked it down. Leo outside the circle right here. The best tee shot I saw on it, and then a great way to finish it with a downhill putt. I know that him and Mikael ended up qualifying for the US DGC, which is really exciting for some of the Finland players to go over there and play in the US DGC. I think they had 5 spots available, so congrats to those guys for being able to go play in the US DGC.
Absolutely.
Eagle made a fantastic run right there. And
there you have it. Your 2018 Pärnu Open champion. Well played all 3 rounds, super solid golf, and yeah, congrats, Will.
Yeah, thanks, Eagle. I know that you wanted to come on strong that last round, and you know, this is the type of course that anybody could go out there and shoot a hot round, and anybody could go out there too and not have that great of a day. So it's great playing with you, great commentating, great hanging out in Estonia, and that's a fantastic look of me right there.
Absolutely.
But thanks again for watching, and until next time.
All right, guys, you know the drill. Keep on dreaming, and Bird Shoes out.
Okay, bye.
Bye. First of all, thank you. For me, I feel this layout here in Estonia is one of the best. I really enjoyed playing here. I think the course is pretty challenging, but at the same time, there are a lot of holes for ladies to birdie. So I'm really hoping that in the future we will also have a chance to play the same course.
Congratulations on your second place on this tournament. Can you tell us about your final round?
My final round was really good. Today I kind of had a feeling going into the round that I was going to do well, and that's what I did. I played nice and steady throughout the round. I made all my inside the circle putts. May have left a few out there from outside the circle, but overall I'm really happy on how I finished. Had a lot of good stretches of birdies, and yeah, pretty happy with the result.
Okay, so what are your thoughts about the course?
The course is good. It's pretty technical but fair, I'd say. It's punishing if you get off the fairway, but there's a lot of opportunities to play the safe shot, to lay up, get your par, and not take big numbers. So it's kind of just about managing the best you can and coming out with a score that's respectable.
So how do you like in Estonia so far?
Estonia is one of my favorite countries I've ever visited. It's great. The people are great, the food is great, and I can see myself coming back many times in the future.
Okay, thank you, and congratulations again.
Great, thanks.
Yeah.
Final round was a little bit up and down. It was a little bit breezy, like very swirly wind, so it made it a little bit more difficult putting around the basket, but overall I like the course. The course is a lot of fun. I love coming to Estonia to play, and I just kind of wanted to hang on. I know I had a little bit of a lead, so I wasn't really trying to run too hard or try to make too many mistakes. Eagle had a great round coming down the stretch, and it was really nice to win by 1 shot.
Okay, so what do you think about this layout?
I think it's fun. I don't think it's the most challenging that I've played out here, but I just think it's really fun to just be out here and throw through the trees. It's really nice gaps, very clean shots. The basket placements are really nice. They're not, you know, a couple of them on top of the hills, so it makes putting really difficult. Ups and down hills, you know, the elevation really does change disc golf a lot, so I like elevated baskets and tee placement, so it was a lot of fun. The woods are really nice out here. There's a lot of blueberries to be picked, and a little bit of breeze adds a level of difficulty. And then besides that, it was just kind of nice to play the course.
Okay, so thank you, and congratulations again.
Thanks.